Hey everybody, Justin Popovich here again with Brad Goss and our Twitter accounts. Make sure you look us up. Today we want to talk about unlearning. Hopefully just that word itself has caught your attention. Think about your day right now, or think about the things you do. A lot of the things you do, and that we all do, we do because we don't even know why. They're just learned behaviors, things that have been programmed into us or taught to us through generations of habit. And we want to stop today to interrupt some of those patterns and maybe help you try something new in your life. And Brad's going to start it off with something kind of funny.
It's a classic story really, but it helps to illustrate this point, I think, better than anything else. And you've probably heard this story, but it's the story of a man who goes to his in-laws for dinner for the first time. And he's just married his new wife, his new bride, and he goes to his wife's parents for dinner, and the grandparents are there, and it's a big event, and he's helping out in the kitchen, and he notices that his mother-in-law, she's making a nice big ham. She cuts the sides off of the ham, and she puts it in the oven, and he says to her, you know, why did you cut the sides off of the ham? And she says, well, I don't know, I've just always made it that way. And he said, you know, did your mother make it that way? And she said, yeah. And so he goes to his grandmother-in-law, and he says, why did you cut the sides off of your ham? And she said, well, my mother did it because when we were growing up in the Great Depression, we had a very small oven. Ovens weren't made very big back then, and so in order to fit the ham in the oven, we had to cut the sides off of it. And you know, it's a really interesting illustration because, you know, here's a woman in the 20th century. You know, she's you know, putting her ham in the oven. She's got a massive oven that can handle 2 hams, and she's cutting the sides off because her mother and her grandmother did it that way. And she's never once stopped to think, why am I doing this? Do I need to do this? Is this actually necessary? She doesn't even know why she does it. She just does it.
Yeah. And
it really makes you think about all the things that you do every day that are learned behaviors, either from your parents or from public school, or maybe they come from 6 generations back, and every single generation has just taught the next to do something, and you just by default do something that way.
Yeah, it could be really subtle like that. That's a funny little story, but we can all probably think of little things like little quirks that we have that do it, but it can have a bigger impact if it's stuff that influences your behavior, like the choices you're making in your life. And the one we were talking about before we flipped on the camera was, one of the things in my life is this idea that the man of the household needs to be the guy that does all of the handyman work, right? So the light fixture's broken, you got to get up there and fix it. If you don't know how, then you figure it out, or you know, you get a buddy over and he'll show you, and you do it, and you get your hands dirty. And I don't mind doing a little bit of manual labor and some work from time to time, but that's not my thing. Like, I don't enjoy doing it. I hate most handyman work, and I'm not good at it because I hate it. If I liked it, I could get good at it. Sure. I think we can get good at anything we enjoy. And so breaking that whole conformity that I need to be the guy doing all that is a tough thing, but it's like, why am I trying to learn all these different skills that I'm never going to use, even though all the people I'm modeling and all the most successful people that I've watched always say just focus on your strengths and just manage out your weaknesses, outsource your weaknesses, or whatever it is. And so for me, I challenge that belief by now what I'm starting to do is looking at things that consume way too much of my time. Cutting grass, let's say, you know, 2.5 hours of my time to cut my lawn. I could spend 2.5 hours building a product or improving a product or working with a customer, and I know that's going to come back to me tenfold in my business, and it's going to cost me 30 bucks.
Yeah.
But like, I remember the first time I did it, there was like this nervous system reaction in me saying, oh my God, what are you doing? You're giving somebody 30 bucks to cut your grass? You can do that yourself.
Yeah.
It's 30 bucks. Like, I could make that easily in 2.5 hours with focused work.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a belief. It wasn't something that I just ever thought of doing. It was just something that didn't occur to me, or that I didn't believe you should do.
As an entrepreneur, you know, I've been unlearning for the last 13 years, really, a lot of things. And I'm hoping that by watching this video, maybe you'll get something out of this. And what I'm really hoping is that in the comments below, you will actually share with us what your cut hand is. What are you doing in your life or in your business or your world that is the same as cutting the sides off of the ham? And if you figure out what that is, or maybe you've recently figured out what that is, please share it with us in the comments below, because we'd really like to hear from you on what it is that you're trying to unlearn from your own upbringing.